Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another reading. Let's see what's coming up in this week. Right, I have my cards here. I ended up somehow accidentally shuffling it before and the cards just jumped right out. So we got 3 cards and I'm going to go through all 3 of them. So first one, 6 of materials, but it is reversed. 6 of materials is all about, or 6 of pentacles is all about equal give and take. It is about whatever you put out, you kind of receive. This is reversed. So this is the message I get here that, sometimes you don't know where the money will come from. And maybe you're relying on this one source of income, where you're like, for example, let's say you are a hairdresser, right? So you're a hairdresser and you're like, wanting to have more clients, and you're like, you know what, I want to get more clients, I want to up my business now, it's time to get those clients. You're putting out all the social media content that is going to attract all the clients. You're telling everyone, you're doing everything that you can to get clients, which is great, which is a strategy. It has to be that way. There's one key component, which is to be able to give as much as possible. Maybe hairdressers isn't the best example, but maybe you could give like advice on, okay, someone asks you and you hold certain, advice to yourself, mainly because you're thinking, okay, I don't want to give too much away, but honestly, the amount of information that is available out there, everything is available out there. Everyone has looked at something in detail. It's not something we're discovering anything new. All the spiritual aspects have been considered to quite great depth. All the strategy, marketing, branding, everything is out there. If that person really wanted to search that thing, they could Google it, YouTube it, ChatGPT it. They will find it no matter what. So you, by thinking that, I don't want to give everything away, I want to withhold certain information, is actually not a good strategy. For example, you don't want to tell them what dye in case someone else copies you. You don't want to tell them, you don't want to put out so much stuff on social media because you don't want people to think that you're that you're giving too much away and people are not going to buy your services or come to you. Hairdressers is one example. Other example maybe, say you give a trial photo shoot to someone. And at first that requires sort of people coming in and trying out your services, because how are they meant to know what you are about, how you are? And maybe you have some testimonials but only a few, but people do need to know that what you're offering is legit. Everyone is putting their hard-earned money towards your services or whatever products and stuff that you have to offer. It has to be worthwhile to them. And it doesn't mean that you give things for free, but it does mean that you lower your expectations in terms of sharing of advice and content. I literally share everything that I can in these videos, because what I'm sharing is not necessarily new, but it may come at a time where it's the most relevant. And that's what readings are for, and they're great for it. It's not necessarily anything new, but it is something that will help someone out there to take a step. And I can help people around me when I'm in person, yes, but there is a much larger audience out there, and who may need certain guidance, and maybe they don't have people around them. And that's the whole point of it. The whole point that you are doing something, yes, you do want to make money, you do want all of those things, but you have to give, in order to receive. What can you give today? Lead your day with thinking, okay, how can I be of service today? This is something I have started using every day. In the mornings when I'm journaling, talking about things that I'm grateful for. I write those down in the morning, and then I say, right, universe, what will you have me to today? And where will you have me be? How can I be of service to other people? That's what I start my day with. And the reason why I start my day with that is because I have chosen a certain lifestyle which is no longer fitting the 9 to 5 life. It isn't. It's, I lead, I've chosen the spiritual path, so I lead with what the voice inside me, my intuition or connection to the spirit team, higher self, whatever they guide me through. So I have to listen it that way. But some days, I'm not even meant to be there. I'm meant to go, I would get a nudge to go somewhere completely different. Maybe it's just a cafe, and then I'll end up meeting someone there at a cafe who I'm telling, who I'm sharing my story with. And maybe that's exactly what that person needed to progress forward in their life. And now you might be thinking, hey, isn't that like all just for free? No, it's not, because you're not necessarily doing it in order to just receive, you're not just going out there and helping people in order to get something back. You're doing it because that's your path. You're doing it because you are of service to this world. What else are you here to do? Yes, we are here to experience love, friendships, community, travel the world. All of those things definitely do exist. But what are you truly here for? What are you truly here for? Especially if you are someone who's on a spiritual path, light worker, whatever you want to call it. And you don't always have to necessarily be in that path. You could be an engineer like I was, and you could be helping out people at work. It doesn't necessarily bring you major things in life, but you're helping because ultimately you helping them is actually helping you as well, in a way. Sharing your gifts, sharing your talents is helping them. Of course, we have those boundaries, and we know that when we need to stop, or we need to not people please, and with the right people we don't share as much because they'll take advantage. With the wrong people we don't share as much, they'll take advantage, and it's only to be done with right people. But if you have the good discernment within you to know who's a good person, or that you just feel like they are someone you can kind of trust, and you'll know that early on with experience and everything that we have lived through, and just the vibes, I guess. You'll know when to trust someone, and that's where you want to help, right? 6 of materials reversed is you want to put out what you want to get back, in one sense, right? So the more you give. Do you know how many content creators just put out so much free content out there, and people listen, and they don't ever pay for those services ever? But there are a certain amount of people who will pay for those services, and a premium amount, because they are so aligned to those people. Just like with this hairdresser example, someone is going to pay you without you even giving much content away, because they just like your style and they can see it. They can see, that's exactly what I'm looking for. This person does the hair like that. That's what I want. I like their vibe. You kind of stay loyal. Or, at a nail salon, you go to, my lash technician and my nails, what are they called? Not nail technician. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, nail salons that I go to get my, the beauty treatments that I like. I'm pretty loyal to them because I know them as a person, because I like them as a person, and I know they could do a good service. And that wasn't just based on reviews per se. I just went once, and then I had a look, and I was like, oh, I quite like them. I'm going to stick to them. Something within you is saying exactly that you're going to stick to certain people, certain things, because you like their vibe. You have built a relationship with them. As a hairdresser, maybe I keep coming back to a hairdresser who's great at rapport. As a hairdresser, you also have to make conversation with people, and people tell you all this stuff. You're also basically a therapist in some ways. You're listening to, you're holding space for this person, and they, and you're offering this certain advice in some ways. You are doing a service in that way too, okay? So that's what I'm saying, that put out what you want to receive. Put out without holding content back. The right people will immediately know that they want to spend money on you, on your services, or your messages that they connect with. So that's what I get here. Don't withhold, put it out there. Content creators put all the content out there, is always there. The one thing that they give to other people is true change and accountability, because once you put money to something, you're more likely to take action. You know, there's so much content out there, people will listen, but when it comes to action, that's what the actual person is there for. Knowledge is all available. Right, let's get to another message, which is 9 of emotions, 9 of cups. I immediately noticed this genie's lamp here. Okay, this is a different message than I would have expected, but it is, what is the name of the genie in, is it the genie in Aladdin? Okay, what is your wish? What is your next wish? This is a manifestation energy. What is your next wish in life? What is your next wish for this year? What do you want to create next? What are you calling in? Yeah, what are you calling in? That's what you want to say. What are you calling in? Ask yourself in depth, actually. Get really clear on it. Oh, I have something very important to share. But I'm going to answer this, get this card up first. Awakening. Gosh, I didn't even know. What is card number 20? I think 21 is world. What is the one before the world card? Not sure. We're going to go with awakening. Someone might be going through spiritual awakening, or this is a special message. If you went through spiritual awakening, and now spiritual awakening has a few stages. You have, I'm going to butcher this, but I'm going to mention certain things. You have a phase where you go through possibly a traumatic event, or something happens, or whether that's a breakup or loss, some sort of grief involved, and that can lead to spiritual awakening. It's not for everyone, but a lot of people, this is what happens to them, right? They go through something traumatic. They go through something that is quite significantly affecting your brain chemistry, your body in a very significant way. And that's usually when you wake up to things. You wake up, and this happened to me, by the way. When I woke up, I remember thinking, oh my God, like the way I viewed the world was completely different. And now it's completely something else. Like, mind blown. You're kind of like this awakening of like, you know, you realize that you kind of wake up to all the patterns from the past relationship. Like, you know, if it's a relationship that you've kind of separated from, you start seeing all the patterns. You realize, gosh, that was there from the beginning, this, that. Or if it's loss, you know, maybe it's a loss of an actual, you know, someone very close to you, loss in terms of, you know, someone going to the other side. And you kind of realize a lot more the depth of your love for them, the depth with which you kind of start feeling true compassion towards yourself. And it's a stage of grief that you go through, but that comes after. We're just going to go through this. So when the spiritual awakening happens, you go through this grief stage, you know, you kind of mourn everything. You realize, gosh, all these patterns and everything are becoming so clear. You were kind of living under this blindfold, and now you're so awake and you can't unnotice what you can see. What happens after that? Well, after that, you enter the stage, which is pure bliss. Everything just is kind of great. Yeah, kind of great, you know. You kind of feel like things are kind of getting in order. It's because you've shed off quite a huge emotional baggage, and you've started to see things as they originally were, and rather than with this blindfold. So you kind of feel like, wow, the depth with which you can feel, the empathy you have for people kind of increases in the stage. And you know, and in this stage, this lasts a couple of weeks, maybe months. And after this comes the real work. You may be in the void at this point. the void is basically a time where you feel like nothing's happening, nothing is coming into fruition. You know, things were going so well just now. You know, you went through something traumatic, yes, but then things improved quite massively, and then you were kind of like, wow, it is better, but at the same time you're now in this void where you're like, what am I meant to do next? I'm aware of all these things. Maybe you're aware you're not meant to be at this job. You're aware that like that relationship wasn't it. You know, now you're kind of like, but what is it meant to be? I don't have any guidance. That lasts for a little bit. You know, well, we don't know how long it will last. Each person's journey is very different. But when you're in that stage, it is going to feel like you're kind of in the unknown. And that was my first experience of the unknown, where I didn't know. When my world crumbled in one certain way, things changed very significantly. I didn't know what was coming next. That's when you start living day by day. And the message that I was getting before was through the spiritual awakening process. And if someone's going through that now, these are your stages that you are most likely to go through. So be patient with yourself. This is just how it works. But there is something to be said about what is your wish? What are you wanting to create next? So, and then we got the awakening card. So there is something to be unlocked with your wish through this awakening. So this awakening may have happened because you wished for something. You wished for example, freedom, deep freedom. And this thing happened where, you know, some things fell apart, some things went away, and maybe in more traumatic way than you could have imagined, but it's ultimately leading to your wish of freedom. And yeah, it's ultimately leading you to your wish for freedom, true freedom, in the sense of just, yeah, this purest sense. You know, you feel like you're kind of free in the sense that you're not tied to anything. You know, you're light. You feel light. You feel almost like this, that if in the morning you slept for a little bit longer, no one's going to tell you off. It's okay. No one's going to come and chase you and tell you, wake up, as you may have been in childhood. Maybe if you drop a glass or a vase, you know, of flowers on the floor, it was a mistake. It's okay. No one's going to come after you and tell you, you made a mistake. Come on, clean it up. What is wrong with you? You made all this mess. You're an adult, no longer a child. It's okay. It's okay. It's just a vase. You clean it up. Takes about 5 minutes to clean it up, and then that's it. That's it. You move on with your day. You're an adult. It no longer is an issue. No longer is an issue. And even as a child, it wasn't an issue. It's just parents or whoever your caregivers were, they were not regulated enough to be able to tell you that it's okay. Don't worry about it. We'll get it sorted. You don't need to worry about making so many mistakes, because it's not a mistake. It's just genuinely happened, you know, just happened. You had something in your mind, or you were doing something, you just dropped things. That's it. It takes 5 minutes to clean up and you're done. So something like that. That was a very roundabout message, but that's what I get. And now that leads me to the point where I was coming on to before, which is something I came across recently, and it has been life-changing. And you want to hear this right now, especially if you're facing certain abundance and wealth blocks. You can only manifest and use affirmations, use, what are the other techniques? Affirmations and visualization. All these manifestation techniques are really just there to get you through the surface level. They are sort of, if we look at our spiritual evolution, they work at one stage of your life, right? You start seeing all these signs and, you know, 11 on the clock, and these are great. They take you on the journey. You get to one point where you are seeing those signs, but something's not working. Like you're kind of like, but things aren't necessarily coming to fruition. Why? You've been manifesting for a long time. You're using that scripting technique and what's the other word? Scripting technique, visualizing, 365 method, all these manifestation methods, you're trying them out, EFT tapping even, all of these. I've tried all these methods, right? And what I found is that they are no longer working. I have done enough work to be able to clear out quite a lot of things in my life right now. So what is missing, you know? And that's because your next manifestation may be something that requires something completely different. It requires you to unlock a level in your life that you have not unlocked before. And manifestation techniques work up to a certain level, after which it's all about spiritual evolution. You don't need to be spiritual to manifest, right? We all know this. We have seen this Roxy Nafousi book Manifest, which is blown up, and you know, people are using those techniques of visualization, trusting, and all of these techniques. That is still a surface level. But if you are looking to expand your consciousness to a deeper level, which is exactly what may be required for your next manifestation, whatever you're trying to create, it requires different tools. The old tools are not going to work. And the tools that are required for that may be something that are diving deep into your ancestral healing, maybe diving deep into your past lives or something like that. That is not something I have experimented with, mainly because it never felt relevant, you know. But that is something that has perhaps existed within epigenetics and your genes that have, you know, your ancestors have carried forward. And those are deeper, much deeper things to heal. And in order to even get to that stage, you would have had to go through all the manifestation techniques, scripting, and like, you know, trying all of these out, so that now you are in your deeper level of spiritual evolution, where now those things don't necessarily work. They might work now and then for little things, but generally they won't work. And if you're at that stage, I have something for you that I've tried recently, and it has been life-changing. Someone called Edward Mannix. Edward Mannix has talked about, his teachings are fantastic actually, and he's talked about something that is very much a key, something we don't have in this world, especially in such a patriarchal capitalistic world where we are driven by productivity and getting things done and achievement and all these, you know, tangible monetary values. And he's mentioned that often there is one key thing that is not mentioned in any of the religions. It's not mentioned in Buddhism. It's not really mentioned in Hinduism, to some extent, but not really. And somehow the new self-love philosophy, self-love coaching, kind of teaches you that, but not to this level. And that is having compassion for yourself. Compassion key. It is, especially if you're like a very empathetic person, you'll have compassion for other people, but for yourself, that will be hard. I find myself, you know, every other day, like, if I do something that I'm like, I'm trying to think of an example now, because I did this literally yesterday. Yeah, so something had happened, and I had sent an email to someone, and but I was kind of not sure if that was received, mainly because there were some issues with my emails before, and some people weren't receiving them. So then I sent another email, and then I was kind of getting like, oh my god, I don't know if they would have received it. Let me just send another one. In the end, I had sent 4 emails within the space of 24 hours, and I was just like, I look like such a freak. What is wrong with you? Why would you send 4 emails in like 24 hours? You know, and I was beating myself up about it. I was like, you're gonna look so stupid. They're gonna think you're like this, I don't know, you're trying to like be this desperate person, or, you know, this. That's what I had the major fear of, like being like seen as that. And ultimately I thought if someone else did that, I would be like, okay, whoa, I've received like 4 emails from this person. But then I would also think like, okay, maybe they're just about like going a bit anxious, or maybe, you know, there's a reason behind it. Something's happening behind it, you know, you try and like figure it out. Because the emails were like questions about like a course that I'm going to be taking. And they were genuine questions. It wasn't like I was actually going crazy. And even if you were, then wouldn't a compassionate person on the other side be like, oh, they seem like they have like, you know, something coming up. They're maybe going through something a bit that is making them anxious. So let me just offer them compassion. That's okay. They're going through that. But you know what? It's okay. We've all had those days. We've all had those days. So it's something like that. Offering yourself compassion even in the moments where you feel like you don't deserve it. Yeah, you feel like in the moments that you don't deserve it, you deserve that compassion. Just know that. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is the compassion key is so the thing that you need in your next manifestation is because it can unlock huge wealth abundance, huge maybe even love in your life, whatever you're trying to call into your life. It's because at some point, at some level in your mind, in your subconscious mind, you feel like you don't deserve it. And that's what Edward Mannix teachings are saying. So let's take an example of money. He talks about, you know, let's look at this phrase and let's say it out loud, which is, I deserve big money miracles, right? And when you say that sentence out loud, write down what your feelings come up. And so for some of you, it may be a voice inside your head saying, why should you? You know, for some of you, it would be, yeah, but you know, you have to work hard to get that money. And those are the voices you want to pay attention to for just this moment, not a voice, just this moment. You want to see and become aware of, wow, okay, that I didn't realize that's what was coming up. Or something like, which is completely mind-blowing, but it's such a prevalent thing, which is, I don't want to seem like I am showing off or being too greedy or appearing like that you don't want to show off. You don't want to appear like you have it all when you could have it all. The thing that is stopping you is that you don't want to appear like that in front of other people. You don't want to put someone else down because you are progressing. Whereas that is the very thing that you need to do in order to inspire others. You're unlocking levels for other people. By bringing yourself down, you're not unlocking it. You're keeping them at this level, which is a disservice to them and yourself. Disservice to them and yourself, you know? They need to feel the emotion of envy and greed and not enoughness, so they can heal that in themselves. And you might be the person rising to the top, showing them that you can get there. There is a way to get there. So by lowering yourself or keeping yourself at the same level, you're actually doing them a disservice to yourself, as well as just, why wouldn't you want money? Like, just go get money, you know? And I don't mean that like it's going to solve all problems, but if it's like, if that is the next level of your evolution, that, you know, money is going to help unlock a lot of things in your life. For example, it's going to get you a new house where you can finally feel that freedom, that joy, that way of being that you've always wanted. Or maybe this money is going to get you a trip of a lifetime where you can connect with other like-minded people and evolve more spiritually. You know, this is for your good. You need to convince yourself that you deserve it because it's for your good. That money is for your good, is for your best self, is for your highest evolution. It's what your ancestors would have wanted. They want to see you grow and evolve in the most beautiful way so that you can heal their patterns too that they couldn't achieve in their life. They're rooting for you. That is what is coming up. That is what is the message that I get here. Long message, but that is huge. Check out Edward Mannix compassion key. Edward Mannix compassion key. Very useful. Keep working through it. I'm sure there's not a huge amount of videos, but there are some videos out there which will help you, or he has courses, so do check them out. I feel complete. I think that was a big message for someone, and I hope that helps you in your next level of evolution and stepping into your new wealth zone. So, I hope you enjoyed that reading, and I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.